Hi, Timothy Carlson here. I love me a good Western, and Clint Eastwood is certainly one of the men most associated with the Western genre. And it was his film, Unforgiven, released in 1992, that was actually that year's Best Picture winner, one of the very few Westerns to achieve that accolade. Today, we're looking at the 4K Ultra High Def release of Unforgiven, which I picked up a few years ago but never got around to reviewing on this channel. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Great close-up there of Clint. And you have the Oscar statuette and mention of the four winds. There's our spine. Back cover. This does include the film in Blu-ray and 4K Ultra High Def. The Blu-ray includes the bulk of the bonus features, and it also is the same remastered transfer that was used for the 4K disc. It's not just a rehash of the older disc, so hats off to Warner Brothers for that one. Unforgiven is a modern classic that summarizes everything I feel about the Western, director star Clint Eastwood told the Los Angeles Times. This American Film Institute Top 100 American Movies selection wrote off with 4 1992 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Director, Supporting Actor, and Editing. Eastwood and Morgan Freeman play retired outlaws who pick up their guns one last time to collect a bounty. Richard Harris is an ill-fated killer for hire, and Hackman is a lawman of sly charm and chilling brutality. Unforgiven is a Western for the ages. If I'm not mistaken, this is actually the final Western that Clint Eastwood made, because all of the movies that have come since that he's made for the most part have been contemporary productions. However, this is certainly a swan song of the finest kind and one of the best movies of the genre. Clint Eastwood here plays William Money, who was once a notorious outlaw who had no qualms about killing women and children. When he married his wife, he became a much more mellow man and even became the father to 2 children. Sadly, his wife passed away, but he continues to be the best father he can to his kids, but the harsh realities of farm life become quickly evident. It's not long before he finds himself leaving the kids and heading off to collect a bounty that's being put on by some prostitutes who had one of their members slashed up and beaten, and he teams up with a fellow former outlaw and friend played by Morgan Freeman, as well as a younger man who certainly talks a big game, but might not quite be all that he seems. Before long, the two are heading out on their travels, and the sheriff of the town, portrayed by the late great Gene Hackman, finds himself in his own share of conflicts, including a notorious outlaw known as English Bob, who comes to town, again talking a big game, but is quickly put in his place by the sheriff. Before long, of course, all hell breaks loose, and it quickly becomes one of Eastwood's best acting performances. There's also the central theme of, no matter how much you do to redeem yourself, can you ever truly get away from your past? Is there any way that you can absolve your sins? And it's just expertly acted all around. The production values are top-notch. It's a beautifully shot film. And, of course, you probably have a pretty good idea where the conclusion is going to go. And there are casualties on both sides along the way. But when you get there, you know that it's certainly a worthy journey and a worthy destination. There are a few minor issues with the film. For instance, film critic Gene Siskel is one of the few people that actually gave a thumbs down to the movie, claiming that the character of English Bob was really unnecessary considering he never actually meets the heroes. I would somewhat agree with this. Richard Harris is a fine actor, but again, I do question whether that character was really needed in the film, and that entire little subplot there. But overall, you can't deny the production values, the performances, Clint Eastwood doing his thing on both sides of the camera exceptionally well. Unforgiven is the Western genre at its absolute finest. Unforgiven comes to the 4K Ultra High Def format courtesy of Warner Brothers, and I'm happy to say it's a phenomenal looking disc. All the fine object detail, all the colors, everything that comes into this disc looks absolutely fantastic. It's a 4K disc the way it should look, with no unwanted enhancements, digital noise reduction, tinkering, sharpening. It's a natural looking transfer of the best kind. And of course, that addition of HDR certainly gives it that little punch and an edge over its 1080p counterpart. Again, the 1080p Blu-ray disc in here is also the remastered version of the film. We get some bonus features on the Blu-ray disc, but they're just the previously released ones. We get some documentaries on the making of the film, a commentary track by Richard Schickel, the famed Clint Eastwood biographer, a trailer for the film, and even an old episode of the TV series Maverick in which Eastwood appeared. So it's a decent supplement package there, but the movie's great, the transfer's great. If you're a fan of cinema, you owe it to yourself to add the 4K of Unforgiven to your collection. How about you? What do you think of Unforgiven? Do you think it's one of the greatest westerns ever made? Do you think it's Clint Eastwood's best role in front of and behind the camera? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.